New York just witnessed a political shakeup, and for many, it's being called a historic moment. Zohran Mamdani's victory has sparked celebrations, debates, and a wave of hope across communities who see this as more than just an election. It's a turning point. In this video, we'll explore how New Yorkers are reacting, what this win really means, and why Mamdani's rise represents something much bigger than politics. Before we get into the voices and stories shaping this moment, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell, because history is being written right here in New York City. Who is Zohran Mamdani and why this victory matters? Zohran Mamdani just became New York City's 111th mayor, and he's breaking every record in the book. At 34 years old, he's the youngest mayor in over a century. But that's not all. He's the first Muslim mayor, the first South Asian mayor, and the first born in Africa to lead America's largest city. Mamdani defeated former Governor Andrew Cuomo and Republican Curtis Sliwa in a race that brought out more than 2 million voters, the highest turnout in a mayoral election in over 50 years. This Democratic Socialist ran a grassroots campaign focused on making New York affordable for everyday people. Its charisma and message about building a city for working-class New Yorkers struck a chord with voters who felt ignored by traditional politicians. The Muslim community is celebrating. The energy in Muslim communities across New York City is electric right now. At mosques in Queens, worshipers are praying for their new mayor. Hazem Tamim, who's lived in Astoria for 4 decades, said he hopes Mamdani creates a city where everyone can live together as one community. Many Muslim New Yorkers say they finally feel represented and no longer like outsiders. Imam Khalid Latif from the Islamic Center in Greenwich Village called the atmosphere spectacular. He believes Mamdani's victory upends stereotypes about what Muslims can achieve in America. For years, Islamophobia was used as a political weapon to keep certain people out of power, but Mamdani's win shows those days are over. However, not everyone is purely celebrating. Some Muslim supporters are taking a wait-and-see approach. They voted for Mamdani, but they want to make sure he actually delivers on promises like freezing rents and making the city affordable. Mixed feelings in the Jewish community. The Jewish community's reaction has been complicated and divided. Some Jewish New Yorkers feel alarmed and alienated by the results. Richard Siegel said it feels like the city voted against his sense of safety. Rabbi Arab Berman from Yeshiva University worries about Mamdani's stance on Israel, calling it a form of discrimination and anti-Semitism. Many pro-Israel voices expressed concern about Mamdani's statements, including his refusal to recognize Israel as a Jewish state and his vow to arrest Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu if he visits New York. On the other hand, many progressive Jews are thrilled. Beth Miller from Jewish Voices for Peace Action said she felt hopeful for the first time in years. Her organization endorsed Mamdani on day one and knocked on 200,000 doors to support him. During his victory speech, Mamdani promised to stand with Jewish New Yorkers and fight anti-Semitism, which gave hope to many of his Jewish supporters. Even billionaire Bill Ackman, who was highly critical of Mamdani's policies, extended an olive branch, congratulating him and offering to help the city. Everyday New Yorkers are hopeful but cautious. For taxi drivers, bodega owners, and working-class New Yorkers, Mamdani's campaign felt personal. Ibrahim Agori, a taxi driver, has photos with Mamdani from 2021 when the assemblyman fought for debt relief for drivers. He feels seen by this victory. Esther Guinness, a senior living on a fixed income in Clinton Hill, hopes Mamdani will keep costs down as prices keep going up. Walid Ally, who moved to New York from Egypt 13 years ago, is excited to see a Muslim immigrant as mayor. But not everyone is convinced. Some Brooklyn residents say they've heard political promises before, and they'll believe it when they see action. Restaurant worker Rayav Ghazali put it simply: he doesn't trust politicians regardless of their race or religion. Many New Yorkers echo this sentiment. They're hopeful, but want Mamdani to prove himself through his actions, not just his words. Business leaders have concerns. The business community's reaction ranges from nervous to openly critical. Palantir CEO Alex Karp predicted a complete disaster, saying he was born in New York and questioning whether Mamdani's policies will actually work. Barstool Sports founder Dave Portnoy, who previously called Mamdani closer to a communist, said he's glad he doesn't live in New York anymore. However, some business leaders are giving Mamdani a chance. The Partnership for New York City, which includes CEOs from major companies like JP Morgan Chase, Goldman Sachs, and BlackRock, endorsed Mamdani's hopeful message. They say they look forward to working with him to extend opportunities to all New Yorkers. Even some of his harshest critics seem willing to work together if it helps the city. Education groups are ready to work together. Teachers' unions and education advocates moved quickly to shake Mamdani's school's agenda. The Alliance for Quality Education praised his focus on affordability and said they believe he shares their vision of well-funded schools and accessible childcare for all. Union officials like Michael Mulgrew are excited about Mamdani's plans to hire more teachers, boost pay for special education aides, and expand pre-kindergarten programs. Even charter school leaders, who Mamdani criticized during his campaign, are extending an olive branch. They want to build bridges with the incoming mayor. Mamdani has said little about his specific vision for New York schools, which gives these groups an opening to help shape his thinking. He signaled he's willing to listen and wants to give families and educators a greater voice in education decisions. Hollywood and celebrity reactions. Mamdani's victory drew huge national attention and quickly turned into a cultural moment. Major celebrities and public figures jumped into the conversation, either cheering for him or openly criticizing him. Actress Cynthia Nixon, famous for Sex and the City and her 2018 run for New York governor, celebrated his win online, calling it the greatest night ever and saying she absolutely loves Mamdani. Model Emily Ratajkowski also joined in, proudly wearing a shirt that read "Hot Girls for Zohran" and encouraging her followers to get out and vote. Oscar-winning actress Lupita Nyong'o shared a personal story, saying she first met Mamdani 2 decades ago when she worked at his mother's film company, and she praised his leadership skills and warm personality, calling him someone who could make an outstanding mayor. However, not all reactions were positive. Comedian Michael Rapaport harshly criticized Mamdani, labeling him fraud class and mocking him for dining at upscale restaurants despite living in a rent-stabilized apartment. This mix of admiration and backlash from Hollywood personalities shows how Mamdani's campaign managed to spark conversations far beyond local politics, capturing attention, emotion, and debate on a national stage. What happens next? Mamdani will take office on January 1st, 2026, and it's already assembling his transition team. He faces enormous challenges ahead. President Trump has threatened to take over the city and even deport Mamdani despite him being a U.S. citizen. The mayor-elect will need to deliver on his promises about affordability while managing relationships with business leaders, diverse religious communities, and skeptical New Yorkers who want action, not words. He's building a coalition that includes people from completely different backgrounds. Yemeni bodega owners, Mexican grandmothers, Senegalese taxi drivers, Uzbek nurses, Trinidadian cooks, and Ethiopian aunties. In his victory speech, Mamdani said New York will no longer be a city where you can traffic Islamophobia and win elections. He promised a new age of bold leadership. Whether he can unite such a divided city and actually make New York affordable remains to be seen. Zohran Mamdani's victory is undeniably historic. New York City just elected its first Muslim, South Asian, and African-born mayor. Some New Yorkers are celebrating a political revolution. Others are worried about what comes next. But everyone agrees on one thing. This is a moment that will be remembered. Whether you supported him or not, Mamdani now has the enormous responsibility of leading over 8 million people in one of the world's most important cities. The hard part, as many have said, lies ahead. Thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think about this historic election. From the streets of Queens to the heart of Manhattan, New Yorkers are calling Zohran Mamdani's victory a milestone and a message. What does his win mean to you? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Is this the beginning of a new political era for New York? If you found this breakdown inspiring, hit like, subscribe, and share it with someone following grassroots change. Until next time, stay aware, stay engaged, and remember, democracy lives in the voices of the people.